All right, good morning, traders. Today is July 10th, 2024. My name is John Kerrigan. I moderate the BYOB trading room. I want to thank all my visitors for being here today. This morning presentation is being recorded, and I will provide a copy of it up there in the alerts. Again, thank you all for being here, all the visitors. We are having an open house today. So there may be more questions than normal, and that's okay, because that would be a great review for all of us. So my SPY pivot this morning is 555.63. Above it, I'm a bull. Below it, I'm a bear. All of the Fab 5 remain in daily uptrends. SPY, QQQ, FNGU made new all-time highs yesterday. SPY closed with a 2-hour uptrend and a 10-minute downtrend. Diamond Dow still in an uptrend, made a lower high and a lower low, closing inside the bullish trap over the 17 EMA. IWM still in an uptrend, made a lower high and a lower low, closing under the bearish trap and under the 17 EMA. Gold in an uptrend, made a lower low and a lower high, closing over the bullish trap over the 17 EMA. Silver also in an uptrend, made an inside day, closing over the bullish trap over the 17 EMA. UNG in a downtrend, made an outside day, that's a higher high and a lower low, closing under the bearish trap under the falling 17 EMA. USO in an uptrend, made a lower high and a lower low, closing under a bearish cross, but over the rising 17 EMA. And the US dollar index still in an uptrend, closed near the 105.11 area. All right, let's take a look at some charts. All right, so here's SPY. This is yesterday's candle. Okay, we got a lower high, a higher low, higher high. We closed over a bullish trap. That's the 3 on top of the 8. That's the trap. So we got the 3 on top. That's the 3 EMA on top of the 8 EMA. So we have a nice bullish stack. We've got price on top of the 3. Both of those on top of the 8. All 3 of those on top of a rising 17 EMA. All right, so we have a nice uptrend going on SPY. All right, yesterday's candle didn't take off too far anywheres. Let's take a look at the 2-hour chart. We left off yesterday with a 2-hour uptrend. Okay, you can see price up over the 3. All right, so price up over the 3. Price in the 3 up over the 8 EMA. Okay, kind of pinching here, but reopened back up. All right, so let's take a look. That's the SPY 2-hour uptrend. 10-minute chart. We closed yesterday with a 10-minute downtrend. Almost had an uptrend. Okay, didn't last long. And then in the pre-market, post-market, they're off racing to new highs. Okay, so here is a 10-minute uptrend there. So for today, okay, green takes out red. This would be the red right here. This block, I'm still going to get to your question, Brad. All right, so all of this is the red. So we take out this red. That's an entry for me up over the red candle right there. Okay, so up here, this is an entry for me to go long. Okay, that'd be green, erases red. That's an entry for me for the upside. Okay, so now yesterday, pivot was down here, 553.63. All right, and we needed to take out this red candle right here at, grab it, right there. Okay, so green erases red. All right, so actually, green erases red, but we gapped up. But green erases red here. That was an entry to go long. It was 556.67. Let me see if I've got that. Here it is. Here's the first entry. 553.85, 556.63 was our first entry price yesterday. So let's put a line in there. And you'll see we didn't go much further. All right, so we took out, see the body of this candle right here. Okay, Brad, we took out the body of that candle, and you can see there's price ripped up over there. It didn't go anywhere, okay? It closed up there. You could bought it, and then you had this pullback, and then you got another rip, and of course that didn't go much further. Only about 25 cents, and it just ran out of gas. And then we came back to that all-time high anchored VWAP right there. So there's price action for yesterday. Okay, it was priced to take out this body of this 10-minute red candle right there. Okay, you can see I put this up here. All right, green erases red entries over the 553.85 pivot. First entry price 556.63. All right, so I hope that clears things up, Brad. It was that candle right there, the body of that red candle right there. All right, so again, green erases red scenario. Okay, so price, I'm looking for price up over this red candle here. That's an entry. Right here is an entry for me. That's green erasing red. So this would be the red pullback. Okay, the bears push it down, bulls push it right back up over it. Okay, so that's SPY. That's the sign of buyers stepping in. Okay, so all-time high anchored VWAP. All right, I got it planted here. Price is above all-time high anchored VWAP. For me, that's an indication money is getting pumped into the market. Okay, I want to be a buyer when money's pumped into the market. All right, when money's leaving the market, don't want to be a buyer. That's when I want to be a seller along with the other sellers. I want to take profit when the professionals take profit, and I want to be a buyer when the professionals are buying. And that would be the big institutions. That's what I'm talking about. Okay, so there's SPY. All right, so now let's come back here. Let's go to QQQ, go back to the daily chart. All right, and QQQ. Okay, QQQ off to new all-time highs yesterday. All right, see, bullish, higher low, higher high, closing over, bullish trap over the rising 17 EMA. Okay, let's go back to SPY just 1 second. I just want to point something out here. Okay, on a 10-minute chart. All right, I'm going to flip to this one right here because it's a little bit cleaner. Okay, so when you see, when I see, okay, you get consolidation right here. And if I see price consolidate on top of prior consolidation, that's bullish for me, okay? Price consolidating on top of prior consolidation, that's bullish for me, okay? Then we got price yesterday consolidates on top of prior consolidation yet again. That's bullish for me. Okay, it's bullish because they went up, okay? And instead of coming back down, they went up and they held it up there. Okay? That's bullish. Instead of going up and coming back down, that would be bearish if price went up, came back down. But when they go up and then they kind of hold or move to the side like that, that is a bullish scenario. That means all of the sellers up there are not overwhelming the buyers so much that they're causing price to drop. Okay, so this is this is bullish for me. All right, so we could see, let's look at the daily just for a second. I'll go back to FNGU in just a minute. Okay, so we've had from this consolidation here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We could get 6 and 7. All right. 6 and 7, maybe 8 and 9. All right. This is bullish. Okay. We could see 560. We could see actually 600 if T2123 could get in gear, and we're going to go visit that in a few minutes. All right, so that is bullish. Whenever I see price consolidate over prior consolidation, that's a bullish scenario for me. All right, so let's go back to FNGU. FNGU, again, puts in new all-time highs yesterday. All right, so that's new all-time high for FNGU. This is the one that's actually carrying the market. Okay, the Fab 5 are SPY, QQQ, FNGU, Diamond Dow, and the IWM. That's the Fab 5. All of the Fab 5 are in daily uptrends. FNGU happens to be a ETN with 10 of the biggest weighted stocks or securities inside the QQQ and the SPY. And these securities are so weighted that all the other stuff can be moving down, but these carry so much weight. If they're moving up, they carry the whole market up higher. Okay, so that's FNGU. That's 10 stocks, and I'll go over those. And actually, I'll just visit them right now real quick. Okay, so we pull this up, and weighted stocks. And these are those 10 right here. Okay, Tesla, Amazon, Alphabet, Snowflake, Apple, Meta, Microsoft, Netflix, Nvidia, Broadcom. Now, I don't know which one of the Googles they're using. They're using the Class A. Remember, there's a Class C and a Class A. But these are the 10 stock. There's only 10 in the FNGU. And this is how they're weighted in there as of 7:10. Those are their weights right now. Okay. Now, if you look at the weighted stocks in, okay, let's say weighted stocks in the NASDAQ, you're going to see you got the same ones. And this is how much they're weighted. So you got Microsoft carries 8%. Out of 100 stocks, you've got one of them that carries 10% almost, 9%. All right? Apple, another one, 9%. Nvidia, 8%. See, these are so weighted. It's the same ones. Microsoft, Apple, Nvidia, Amazon, Broadcom, Meta, Tesla, Google. Okay, it's the same ones. The top ones that are weighted inside the index happen to be the same ones in the FNGU. That's why we follow the FNGU, is because these are the heavyweights inside the two indexes, NASDAQ and QQQ. Let's take a look at SPY. Okay, SPY, look at the top one again. Microsoft, Apple, Nvidia, Amazon. It's just like looking at this one right here. Okay, the FNGU. It's the same ones. All right, this just happens to be only, it's not an index, it's an ETN. So it's only like the top weighted stocks in the FNGU, in the SPY and the QQQ. All right, so that's why we follow FNGU. All right, let's go back here. FNGU in an uptrend. Let's take a look at Diamond Dow. Diamond Dow in an uptrend. All right, it's got that flaky uptrend. Actually, it's got a really bona fide uptrend. Got a higher low, all right, and it made a higher high. That's an uptrend. Higher low, higher high. All right, here's a low, makes a higher low. Here's a high, makes a higher high. Okay, so we got higher low, higher high. That's an uptrend. All right, you can see price action for yesterday, lower high, lower low, closing inside the bullish trap, but over 17 EMA. Diamond Dow in an uptrend. SPY in an uptrend. QQQ uptrend. FNGU uptrend. Okay, here's IWM. This is the Russell 2000. Okay, now Russell 2000's got that flaky uptrend. All right, they took out this high right here. Okay, so that puts them in an uptrend. All right, so they're in this uptrend. They haven't broken this line yet, but they're in that flaky uptrend. And price action for yesterday, okay, if they took out this high, they'd really be in a nice uptrend. Actually, if they take out this high, they'll be in a nice uptrend. Okay, so price action yesterday, let me make sure I get the right candle. All right, right here, lower high, lower low, closing below bullish trap under 17 EMA. All right, need to see this thing break right there. All right, so let's go look at our technicals. First technicals, now I set my technicals up on 15-minute charts because I'm a day trader. I want to know what's going on intraday. All right, if I look at a daily time frame, I don't really get that reading that I'm looking for. So here's T2122, okay, for yesterday's price action, okay. You can see we were in the buyer's chop zone up here, all right. This is the buy zone. This is the overbought zone, okay. This is the chop zone. This is the buyer's chop zone. See if I can pick it up. There it is. So this is the buyer's chop zone. So we got tossed out of the buyer's chop zone down into the sell zone down here. Okay? So that's where we wound up yesterday. See if I can pick this up. There we go. All right? So we wound up, and then the bulls threw us out of the sell zone, and we wound up creating a lower high inside the seller's chop zone. Right there. Okay? This would be the midpoint. The goal for the bulls is to keep the ball or keep the price action up above the 50-yard line. That's the midpoint, 50. Okay? This goes from 0 to 100. All right, but we wound up right back in the sell zone. So that's T2122. Let's take a look at T2123. Okay, so T2123, let me put the quads back in there. Okay, so here's the quadrant lines. And let me drag this over just a little bit more. You can see we're breaking down below that. All right, so here's the quadrant lines. Now here's the 200 SMA for T2123. And you can see on that 200 SMA, price is being forced down lower and lower and lower, like a force field coming from the Death Star, all right? Pushing price lower and lower and lower and lower, all right? So we melt through it right there, and we were hanging out in the upper third, which is a bullish scenario, hanging out in the upper third. Okay, but then we lose that. Then we hang out here at the midpoint, but then we lose that because the force field keeps pushing price down, all right? And then we're in the lower third, okay? And now we find ourselves in quadrant 1. So this would be quadrant 1, is the first one, 2, 3, and 4. All right, so here it is, price melted all the way through. Now, because price made, see if I can get this open up a little bit more, a little bit, squeeze it. Let's go over here. All right, see price, there's a high. Price failed to make a higher high. All right, when price fails to make a higher high, typically what happens is we get a pullback to test the lows or make a lower low. Well, guess what? That's what they did yesterday. They made a lower low right through there. So on the 15-minute chart, we're still in a downtrend. I hope they find a bottom soon. They've already made the lower low. I don't know how much further they want to go. And where will we find support? We'll have to look at the 3-bar chart to find support. So here we are up in quadrant 4, and we wind up pulling back all the way through the bottom of quadrant 1. All right, let's take a look at our 3-bar chart. Okay, let's blow this up just a little bit more. Slide this over. So where would support be? Well, traders, it's a long way down to support. We will not see support until down here, 631, 278. That would be the first sign of support right through there, 631, all the way down there. So let's put a line in. So we don't have support till we get all the way there. All right, if they break this, we could see a flush all the way down to here. So that's T2123. All right, this is the 3-bar chart. And you can see here these red dots. Those are the 17 EMA. And you can see right there, like the old adage says, sell in May and go away. Well, there it is. From May 20th, this thing has just dropped all the way back down to the lows down here and made lower lows yesterday. All right, you can see the red dots. The only time this turns green is when price is over it. Notice price stays underneath the 17 the whole way down. Melts through the 200 SMA right there. That's the 200 on the 3-bar chart. Okay, so we're down into quadrant 1. We're actually negative. We're into negative territory right now because we've actually made a lower low than where we were before. All right, so that's T2123. Now this happens to measure all of the stocks in the New York Stock Exchange without weighting them. Okay, this is indexes are weighted. This is non-weighted. So as a whole, stocks are making a lower low if we compile the majority of them. And that's what I'm saying is we're not seeing a whole lot of momentum because the whole market is not bullish yet. Now, maybe if they got a rate cut or we got some good news, that could change things, all right? But right now, market is just kind of just resting, pulling back, finding that safe zone that it wants to hang out at, all right? So, but again, we don't have support till we get all the way down here. And they may keep melting until we get down here. We'll see what happens. That's T2123. I just want to say, if this was in an uptrend while the FNGU was in that uptrend, we would have a really nice monster rally. We could see 600 for SPY. All right? But we don't have this. See, as a whole, stocks are melting. Okay, that's like the 7 or 12,000 stocks inside the NYSE. All right, it's the New York Stock Exchange. Here's FNGU. All right, now this is the one that's been carrying the market. All right, so here's FNGU on the 15-minute chart. Yesterday's price action, bullish. All right, it didn't go anywhere, but the fact that, like I said before, whenever I see price consolidate, okay, over prior consolidation. There's price, and then we can consolidate right there. Well, that's not quite true. Let's take that out. So then we consolidate right here, just a little squeaky bit higher. Then we consolidate just right here, just a little squeaky bit higher. All right, so you can see it's kind of moving up, consolidating over prior consolidation. That's bullish. And then look what we're doing in the pre-market. We're doing the same thing all over again. We're kind of consolidating up here over prior consolidation. All of this is bullish. Okay, it's not going up at the rate that we had here, but as long as it keeps squeaking out new higher highs, that is still bullish. Now, I don't see any signs of climactic exhaustion yet. All right. So I'm still bullish until I see climactic exhaustion or a rounded rollover. I'm going to stay bullish on this as long as they continue making higher lows and higher highs. I got to remain bullish. T2123, Joe represents all the stocks in the NYSE as a whole. And let's see what we got here. There's a definition for it, and I'll get it for you later. But let me just see what they say. Okay, that's the cumulative 4-week new high, low in the NYSE. All right. So these are making 4-week new highs, new lows. Okay. So we've got less stocks making 4-week new highs. All right, Joe. Less stocks making 4-week new highs and more stocks making 4-week new lows. All right. Does that help you? If it does not, I'll go on TC 2000, get a better definition. Yeah. Okay, that's cumulative 4-week new high, new low. So that's why we watch the FNGU. You can see it's been carrying the indexes, like Atlas carries the world. All right. It's been carrying the indexes higher and higher, FNGU. All right, let's go back and take a look at energy. All right, we're going to start off with USO. All right, I don't want to get too long on my video here. Okay, USO in an uptrend. We've been in an uptrend since we took out this high. Price action for yesterday. Lower high, lower low, closing underneath, bearish cross, but above the rising 17 EMA. That's bullish. All right, UNG, that's nat gas. USO is petroleum. Okay, so this is natural gas. In a downtrend, we broke this low. We are in a downtrend. We're making lower lows. See that? That puts us in a downtrend. Yesterday's price action, we had an outside day. Higher high, lower low, closing under bearish trap, under falling 17 EMA. Okay, we are on minor support right here. See all of this consolidation? Well, all of the peaks right through here should be the minor support. That'd be a peak there, a peak there, a peak there, a peak there. Okay, all of this is minor support of this consolidation. All right, I'm looking for a 10-minute uptrend to materialize in UNG, either today or tomorrow. Maybe when CPI comes out tomorrow, we'll get one. But that's minor support. I would expect price to bounce off of this area. If you kind of look at it, you see how price has stopped dropping at the rate it was dropping because it hit minor support. Notice we got 4 candles all with kind of ending at the same spot. So they all, you can see that's price finding support right through here. All right, so let's trash that out. Let's go take a look at precious metals. So I'm looking for a 10-minute uptrend. Really, a 15-minute uptrend would be nicer. All right, 2-hour uptrend would just be awesome. All right, for UNG, I would expect a bounce back to this area right here, 1750. Okay, let's take a look at silver. Let's try this one more time. Silver's in an uptrend. They took out this high. Price action for silver yesterday is an inside day. Lower high, higher low, closing right there over the bullish trap, over the rising 17 EMA. Silver's in an uptrend. Gold took out this high, made a higher high. That's an uptrend. So gold in an uptrend on the daily chart. Yesterday's price action, lower high, lower low, closing over the bullish trap. That's the 3 on top of the 8 on top of the 17. Okay, bullish trap over rising 17 EMA. Gold is bullish. All right, let's take a look at their economic calendar, see what's going to happen this week. And let's see where I can find it. Let's try this one right here. Okay, economic calendar. All right, Mr. Powell spoke yesterday. Okay, let me see if I can read this. Mr. Powell, acknowledgement, modest further progress on inflation. Okay, so I don't know if it's modest on his efforts to curb inflation because that's his job, or inflation is progressing again. Okay, so I'm not sure what that means. But Mr. Powell's going to speak again today at 10 o'clock. Okay, he's been known to move the markets. The main event this week is CPI tomorrow. For today, this is the past. Okay, Mr. Powell's going to speak at 10. Wholesale inventories at 10. Petroleum report 10:30. MBA mortgage applications came out at 7 this morning. Other than that, it's a light day. Tomorrow's the main event, all right? CPI at 8:30 tomorrow morning. Jobless claims 8:30 tomorrow morning. Natural gas report 10:30 almost every Thursday, all right? And then some more Fed speakers. Treasury's going to make a statement at 2, but it's not FOMC. Fed balance sheet at 4:30. Friday's going to be a light day. PPI final demand 8:30. Consumer sentiment at 10, and we're rig count at 1. All right, so this is the main event tomorrow. CPI 8:30. CPI measures inflation. All right, that determines whether we get rate hikes, rate cuts, or we just stay where we are. Okay, I think we're going to probably just stay where we are. All right, I don't see inflation coming down to where they want it. Now, they say they want it at 2%. I don't think we're going to see 2% this year at all. All right, I don't think we'll see 2% next year. So I don't really see any rate cuts, but they have projected 3 rate cuts this year. So I'm curious when they've decided they're going to initiate those rate cuts. Be nice to hear from them to see if they're going to be, if 3% is going to be acceptable to them. CPI has been right about 3% inflation. All right, so they want 2%. I don't know if we'll ever see 2% this year. So that's the main event tomorrow, 8:30. All right, so if inflation is still high, the market may roll over tomorrow if inflation is still high. All right, if inflation is low, that will be good because then they could probably come out with some rate cuts. So we'll see what happens. All right, so there's the economic calendar. Earnings calendar, okay? So CPI can move the market. Expect big moves tomorrow. Earnings calendar. Today, WD-40 is going to report this evening, and PriceSmart's going to report this evening. Both of those are about 2 or 3 billion. Neither one are really going to move the markets. Thursday, the same day as CPI, PepsiCo is going to report. All right, 222 billion. Not really going to move the market much, but it may have an impact on the sector. Progressive still looking for their P&L or putting it together. There you go. Nothing really market moving, but this would probably be sector moving on the retail sector. It's not a leader in the retail sector. It's probably pretty much owned by Walmart, Amazon, Costco. All of them probably have much more influence over the retail sector than PepsiCo. But nonetheless, 222 billion. They're going to report tomorrow morning, right alongside CPI. All right, Friday, we got a lot of big banks going to report. JPM's going to report 589, so that's $500 billion. JP Morgan Chase going to report in the morning. Wells Fargo, 205 billion. They're going to report in the morning. Citigroup, 123 billion. They're going to report in the morning. So we almost got $1 trillion of market cap reporting Friday morning in the financial sector, right there. And then we've got Bank of New York Mellon, that's 44 billion. Fastenal's 35 billion. Okay, just some familiar names right through there. So they're going to kick off the next earnings season comes with the banks again. All right, so that's this Friday, right after CPI shakes the market. Okay, they'll probably do an EKG on Thursday, a rip down, a rip up, and then a rip back. So we'll see what happens. Max Pain for today. We'll see if we can find it. All right, Max Pain for today. That today is the 10th, is 553. All right, put to call ratios, 1.5 puts for every call that expired today. All right, let's take a look at the other Max Pain. The other Max Pain says 555. I don't know how they can be that different. 555 is Max Pain, and the put to call ratio is like 1.25 puts for every call. So we'll see what happens there. 555, and this one was 553. 553. They were both off the other day too. All right, on the dollar, here's the dollar. Dollar is in an uptrend. Okay, we're in an uptrend because we took out this high right here. All right. Okay, not only did we take out the high, we came back, we made a higher low, and then we produced a higher high right here. So that puts us in an uptrend. Notice we came back, spiked the 200 SMA, and shot off to new highs right there. Now, price failed to get over this high right up here. See, we're kind of pulling back. We could have gone up and just moved to the right, but we went up and we're pulling back. Hopefully, this is a measured move down to challenge this low down here. Okay, so we are pulling back towards this 200 SMA, and we may waffle around in here for a while. But dollar is in an uptrend. We like a weak dollar because the weak dollar makes our goods and services less expensive. In other words, when they convert their money to our money in order to pay us, okay, the conversion rate is easier on their wallets if our dollar is not strong. Otherwise, it takes more of their currency to pay us, all right, when we have a strong dollar. When we have a weak dollar, it takes less of their currency to pay us, and then our goods and services become more attractive because they're more affordable, all right? So that affects our GDP. That's gross domestic product. That'll come out another couple weeks. All right, I'm going to take questions in the room. If there's no questions, I'm going to kick this thing off at 9:15, and we'll set us up to open up the day. All right? So I'll take questions in the room. Brad, sorry, back to SPY. If we reopen at yesterday's close, 555.86, then we would wait again for 555.63. I will have to look at that. All right, so let's go take a peek at that right now. And 10-minute chart. Well, yesterday's close was way down here, Brad. If they break this minor support consolidation, that would not be a good sign. I would not be really excited about taking that. In that case, here's my pivot, 555.63. Once I see the pivot hold, I would probably be a buyer down here, because that would be a really bullish scenario if we erased all of this. Really bearish scenario, erasing all of this. So I would, if I was to go long, it would be right here at the anchored VWAP. See the pink line? I would look for a bounce coming into that anchored VWAP. I'd look for a bounce right there. Now, it may fail to bounce. It may go right through. We'll see what happens. But under the line, red erases green. underneath 555.63, and I would look for targets of 554.34 and the pivot down here that was yesterday's pivot, 553.79. Market's bullish. I don't really foresee that happening at this time. We'll see. I'll keep you updated, though. All right, traders, I'm going to take a break. I want to get some coffee, get some caffeine, do a little vape, and I'll be back in about 35 minutes.